You ever have one of those mornings where the universe just slaps you awake before the caffeine even kicks in? I'm talking about that jolt, the one where your heart drops straight to your shoes and your brain goes, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." That was me right there on my driveway. Sunshine pouring down like nothing was wrong. Mug of coffee halfway to my lips, and I'm staring at this big, ugly, jagged scratch running the full length of my SUV. I mean, not some tiny scuff from a shopping cart. No, this was personal. Like somebody took their anger out with a vengeance. You could practically hear the metal screaming. At first, I did that thing where you try to convince yourself it was just random some punk from out of town, right? But before I could even start Googling cheap auto body shop, I catch the neighbors whispering, shooting glances at me over their hedges. And that's when the rumor drops like a brick to the gut. Karen's boy did it. You know the type. If you've spent more than a week in an HOA community, you've met at least 3 Karens. Ours came with the deluxe package, mid-50s president of the board, 3 years running, always out patrolling with her trusty clipboard, like she was about to call in an airstrike over your grass length. And her son Jake, 19, loud, arrogant, could never hold a job, always cranking his music, double parking like the lines didn't apply to him. But vandalizing cars, that was a new low. So I try to stay calm, but it's burning inside. I start asking around, and wouldn't you know it? The answer's right there on a neighbor's doorbell camera. There's Jake Red Hoodie smirk on his face, just dragging a key down my SUV like he's autographing it. That was all I needed. I walk right up to Karen's door, didn't even wait for my hands to stop shaking, and she opens it with that smile that never, ever reaches her eyes. I hold up the video, plain as day. "Your son vandalized my car." She doesn't flinch. "Well," she says, that syrupy, condescending voice, "Jake was enforcing HOA standards. Your vehicle's been parked in a non-designated area all week. Maybe now you'll follow the rules." I swear I just stood there with my mouth open. She was calling straight up vandalism HOA business. She shrugs, tells me actions have consequences, consider it a warning. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a cover-up. She was actively encouraging it, using her power to shield her son and smack down anyone who got in her way. But you know what? People like Karen, they get so comfortable behind their little walls of authority, they forget sometimes a person pushes back. So I decided right then fixing the scratch wouldn't be enough. I was going to fix the root of the problem. And if Karen and her enforcer son wanted to play HOA games, I'd make sure they got to play by every single rule. That night, I'm sitting at my kitchen table replaying that video, my anger simmering, but my resolve's already boiling over. The next morning, I show up at the HOA office. Tiny beige, ugly as sin painted HOA gray, because of course it was a color Karen personally approved. Inside, it's all flyers about trash can etiquette and lawn harmony. Hilarious if you think about it. And there's Karen right at her little oak desk, looking up like I'm late for detention. "If you're here to file a complaint," she starts, "the board has full discretion over enforcement." I cut her off. "Perfect. Then you won't mind if I request a board meeting to review this particular enforcement." Her smirk falters. "You can't just—" "Oh, I can." Per Section 4, Paragraph 3, any homeowner affected by disciplinary action can petition the board. Read the manual. I did every page. And man, if looks could kill. I saw her face twitch. Nobody ever quotes the bylaws back to her. Within a week, she's forced to schedule an emergency board meeting. Word spreads fast. People show up in droves, half the neighborhood. Everybody hungry to see what happens when Karen gets challenged. When it's my turn, I plug in the video. Jake in all his glory scratching up my car on the big screen. The room's dead silent. Then you hear it. "That's destruction of property. That's illegal." Karen tries to wrangle it back, coughs, and claims Jake was just following her directions to address ongoing violations by keying cars, apparently. I throw her words right back. "Show me the bylaw that says vandalism is enforcement." Silence. Not even a cricket. Then something surprising happens, a quiet voice from the board. Linda, a retired teacher, pipes up. "Karen, I think we've all let this HOA go too far." For the first time, Karen looks shaken. After the meeting, Linda grabs my elbow and whispers, "Check the financials." She's been funneling HOA money, fake invoices projects that never happened. I'm stunned. You serious? Check for yourself. So I do. I spend 3 nights knee-deep in records. There's a clause about transparency that nobody ever uses, but I do. And what I find, man, it's even uglier than I imagined. Dozens of bogus invoices, payments to companies that don't exist, checks made out to JK Community Services, Jake Karen, her own son. The whole thing's one big shell game. Now, I know what I have to do, and I'm not half-assing it. Next board meeting, I show up early, USB drive in my pocket, hands only a little bit sweaty. When Karen starts her usual speech about community integrity, I stand up. Integrity, I say, let's talk about that. Because here's what I found in the HOA books. I hook up the USB project, the evidence for everyone, payments to Jake's fake company checks, non-existent vendors. The whole room goes quiet, then explodes in outrage. Karen's color drains. She tries to lie. That's a legitimate business. I cut her off. No, it's not. None of these are real. You've been robbing this community blind. Jake tries to step in. Big, tough guy routine. He's muttering threats, but I'm not backing down. That's when I say it. All this is already with the county fraud division. The energy in the room flips. Karen's done for. Jake's face falls. She tries to adjourn the meeting, bark orders, but Linda stands up firm, louder than she's ever been. He's got the right. If this is true, we've been defrauded. Neighbors are filming, muttering, nobody's leaving. Jake lunges at me, shoves me hard enough that the projector nearly takes a dive. Somebody screams. Linda snaps. That's enough. I'm calling the police. By the time the cops roll up, Karen's melting down, pacing and shouting about harassment and illegal evidence. But when I hand over the records, the video, the fake invoices, the officer's whole demeanor shifts. He turns to Karen, "All business, ma'am. We need you and your son to come with us." Karen protests. Jake starts backing up, tries that this is HOA business, you can't arrest us line. The officer doesn't even blink. Keying cars isn't a job, son. And just like that, they're both escorted out, Karen still yelling. Jake, glaring at me from the cruiser's back seat, and the whole neighborhood just standing there, mouths open, watching the flashing lights disappear. A few days later, the news goes around Karen's facing charges for embezzlement and falsifying HOA records. Jake's up for vandalism and assault. At the next HOA meeting, the first one without the two of them, the whole community votes to dissolve the old board. Linda's elected president, and somehow I end up vice president. That night, pulling into my driveway, I can't help but grin. My SUV gleams under the streetlights. No scratches, no HOA drama, just the sweet, simple sound of peace. Wild, right? So here's my question. If you were in my shoes, would you have gone after them the same way? Or would you have let it go and hoped the scratch was the last of it? Drop your thoughts below, seriously. I read every single comment. And if you want more stories like this about what's right, what's wrong, and the wild world of HOA justice, hit that. Don't forget to subscribe and tell me your own neighborhood war stories. I can't wait to see what you all say.